She was born in a place that's not far from here, tucked behind the high wall that looks over you with a sneer. That wall you should know hasn't always been there. Ogres built it on land they stole, they just didn't care. That very huge wall Rebeldita's parents crossed, they had no choice but to do it despite all it cost. And that's just the first part of the story. It's the story of occupied America today, and it's the story specifically about family separation as viewed from the perspective of a child who knows this is not right. And so you get to see in the second part of the book how this is transformed. I needed to write a book that offered the possibility for children to not just know and learn a history, but also to become empowered from it. There are many factors that led me to her, but one main factor was Obama. When he started massively detaining children at the border, he also started massively deporting parents of children in the United States.
Families with children who do not have proper claims at some point will be subject to repatriation to their home countries.
It's a book for the world to understand these migrations from south to north that are not, these are not migrations out of a desire or wish. No, that's the only option left for the majority of people that have to flee, they have to leave, you know. It was my situation in 1997. I left in 1997 because my family and we were kidnapped. 3 men came into the home and had us under AK-47s and M16 and an M16 and machetes. I remember the machete was very traumatic. I haven't spoken about this much. But, you know, 1 month later, I am in LA without my family. And so my family, we couldn't all leave at the same time. But the point here is that Central Americans, as Mexicans, we are mostly leaving to the US because we have, that's the only option, no? Migrating north, leaving your homeland is not something that you choose to do. It's something that you have to do if you need to survive. I was thinking specifically of students of color, okay? And as advice for you and giving us like a historical background of communities of color, people of... As a book lover, as someone who studies literature, the first thing I do is I need to go to libraries in the United States and see what am I going to read to my daughter, you know? So we start going to all the libraries and I encounter this problem of I cannot find books that I want to read to her. Children's literature, when children of color are represented, there is absolute lack of history or social context or even political context because there is no intention in showing the actual daily lived experience of children of color in the United States. And that's something I do in my writing, which is I'm rewriting these foundational narratives, no, from the place of the silences, from the place of the omissions. You know, this word Latino and Latina is extremely problematic for so many reasons, you know. In the United States, it leaves out, it marginalizes, it silences, it takes only from the European side, and it absolutely erases, you know, the African, the indigenous, the Arab, the everything else where we come from. It's really quite different, this story I share with you, because unlike the many others, this one is very true. Over mountains and deserts come hell or high water, they endured months of sore feet, it was all for their daughter. Parents and children are captured alive, locked up and caged by the ogres far and wide. In my writing, in my books, in my children's books, that's one thing I object to do, is to offer a different lens through which to view their surroundings. It's a book for us to finally begin to speak to children about how the Americas came to be. how Occupied America came to be, and it's offering a platform for parents and teachers to be able to open up discussion about these difficult topics.